Hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It is Sunshine Lorena and this is my TBR for June, which I am randomizing by letting you decide on social media. So yes, I have left the fate of June's TBR up to the public. For the people who follow me on social media, I have put up polls on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok to help me decide what's going to be on my TBR this month. So I didn't use the YouTube community tab because I don't use it that much and I wasn't too sure how many of you would have responded. Let me know in the comments if you would have, if you saw it, because I might do that another time. I feel like it worked quite well on other social media platforms. I got quite a few votes. Before I get into like the books, if I was going to do this again, Instagram definitely is the one where I got kind of like the most response. TikTok was quite good as well, but the thing is they only allow you to post like 2 options, so I had to do it as like my story and like only gave 2 options and I posted them one after the other, and the second one only one person voted on it, whereas everyone was voting on the first one. So my lesson learned from that is if I'm going to do this again on TikTok, I probably need to space them out by quite a few hours and try and see if I get more responses from people. But otherwise, yeah, Instagram definitely is the way forward. Also, afterwards, when the results came in, I was like, I probably should have grouped these by like genre rather than like the randomness that I did. So with I chose 4 books for each social media platform, and it was a mixture of audiobooks, ebooks and physical books. I'm doing not great on my 23 and 23, so I think about 7 of these on this list is from there. To try and help me get some of them like ticked off, hopefully, off of that list, and so I could do a little bit better. So what I'm doing is I'm picking the one who got the most votes from each of the social media platforms, and then I'm going to pick a 4th book from the 3 social media platform votes, the one that had the highest votes. So yes, that's kind of what's going on. It's quite quick, easy kind of TBR this month. I've been speaking for ages, so I'm just gonna kind of get on with it. So let's just start with Instagram, since that is the one, like I said, I felt like I got the most results. So you will see the results up here. Now the first thing to note is I accidentally voted on my own poll. It's just when I went back in and I wanted to swipe and see kind of how the results were going, but I accidentally voted for A Magic Soup and Poisoning. So it is not 26% and it's not 5 votes, it should be 4, okay? Just so you note for the general kind of results of this, okay? I was just stupid, basically. But yes, as you can see, the winner of this one is The Silent Patient. It got 8 votes on it. I had this on my Kindle for absolute ages to read, and I think it has appeared in some TBRs before. And yes, it looks like finally I'm going to be reading it. So The Silent Patient is a psychological thriller. It's been a little while, I think, since I've read like a psychological kind of thriller, so I am looking forward to picking one up, as strange as that sounds. So this one is following our main character, Alicia. Life is seemingly perfect for her. A famous painter married to an in-demand fashion photographer. She lives in a grand house with big windows overlooking in a park in one of London's most desirable areas. One evening, her husband Gabriel turns home late from his fashion shoot, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. I'm not going to go through the rest of the synopsis because that's kind of what I know. So she's decided not to speak another word, and I think there's like a psychologist who's trying to get her to speak. Because no one knows kind of what happened, and that's like the general premise, and I think it sounds really good. I also have The Maidens, which is by the same author, on my Kindle, which I haven't read because I had heard that it would give away a spoiler for The Silent Patient, so I do need to read this one first before I read that. So it'd be good I'll be getting it to this month, and like I said, I've not been picking up as many thrillers, so I'm looking forward to picking this one up. So thank you to all of you who voted. So let's move on to TikTok's pick. So here is like the successful first story. As you can see, the 2 I had up against each other is The Shadow of the Wind, which I've had on my shelf since like summer 21. It's like down there at the bottom. It's like, I think it comes under fantasy technical, which I have somewhere down there at the bottom of my shelves. And then I had also put against that one Calypso, Corpses and Cooking, which is book 2 in a Caribbean kitchen mystery by Raquel V. Reyes. I read the first one in this series a few years ago as an ARC. This is actually on the script as an an audiobook. So it's been like in my saved, I'm gonna get to it at some point list. So it's a cozy mystery. It has been a while since I've read a cozy mystery, and they're fun. And this time of year, especially this week, since the weather is just like picked up and it's actually nice and warm, guys. I think it's gonna be perfect going into June listening to this one. I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised that this one won over Shadow of the Wind. I thought, because this one I don't think is that well known, but yeah, I'm really surprised, and maybe people just thought, let's vote for something we don't know about. But thank you to all of you who voted. And just before I kind of get into the description of the book, the other two that I had up on the next one was The Davenports and Part of Your World. Part of Your World got 1 vote. Like I said, people just seem to have not wanted the second part of the story, so those didn't get voted for. Back to Calypso Corpses and Cooking. Like I said, this is the second book in a series. And the first one we picked up I can't remember completely the full premise of the first one, because like I said, it has been a few years. I think it was back in 2021. I think it was back in 2021 that I read this one. But I know that our main character, she is now a cooking star. Whereas in the first one, it was like her kind of getting into it and then like solving like this mystery. But I'm going to read the premise of this one. So the fall festivities are underway in Coral Shores, Miami. Cuban-American cooking show star Miriam wakes up to find a corpse in her front yard. The body by the fake tombstone is the woman that was kicked out of the school's fall festival the day before. Miriam's luck does not improve. Her passive-aggressive mother-in-law puts her in charge of the women's club annual gala. But this year it's not canopies and waltzes. Miriam and a girlfriend's squad opt for fun and flavour. They want to spice it up with Caribbean food trucks and a calypso band. While making plans at the country club, they hear a volatile argument between the new head chef and the club's manager. Not long after, the chef swan dives into his death at the bottom of the grand staircase. Was it an accident, or is Beverly the sous chef who is furious after being passed over for the job? Or maybe it was his ex-girlfriend Anastasia. And 2 possible poisonings to the mix, and Miriam is worried the food truck is going to be a major crash. As the clock ticks down and the body count goes up, Miriam's life is put in jeopardy. Will she connect the dates? Will she connect the dots, or die in deep freeze? Yes, I'm looking forward to this. The first one was fun. I loved how it kind of mixed the cooking elements into the book, and also, if I remember correctly, I think at the end of the first one there was like a couple of recipes which I never ended up trying out, so I probably should look those up. But yes, I thought it was really fun. I'm looking forward to this one, the second one. And cozy mysteries are always giving those like fun kind of vibes, and it's not too serious, you know. So then let's go to Twitter for me to reveal that book, and then I'll tell you what the actual 4th and final book of this will be. So here we go, and as you can see, Little Women won. So we're going with the classic. It has been a while since I've picked up a classic. I actually can't remember the last classic that I read, because like I've been, each year I've had this like goal of reading like 10 classics, and then this year I was like no. But on my 23 there's like I think 5 classics on there, and I've not picked up a single one, and we're almost at the halfway mark, so I need to get reading them. I have seen like the 90s film. I've never actually watched the most recent one, and I've been like putting off because I'm like, I'm gonna read the book. I think I read a little bits and pieces when I was younger, but I can't fully remember. Yes, I am looking forward to picking this one up. But if you don't know, it follows the March sisters, who are Jo, Meg, Beth and Amy, and they dream of fame, riches and love. As they grow together towards womanhood, will they find their heart's desires? And this is set in like the late 1800s, I think it is, in America. And it's just following the stories of these sisters. And Little Women is like the first one. There is like other books in the series, but no one ever speaks about them. And I feel like the film was maybe this and the next book. I can't remember exactly, but I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, another classic. Also, this one is not too daunting. It is like reasonable length, and like writing size is pretty good. So this is a good first classic of the year for me to actually get through. Because yeah, we really need to read some of these classics this year. If you had been paying close attention, you might have spotted which the 4th and final book is going to be. But if not, I'm happy to tell you, it was from Instagram, poll vote, and it's Know Your Name by Chanel Miller. It's a non-fiction, and I have it on audiobook from Audible. It's been on my shelves on there for a while, and I have been recently doing a bit better than non-fiction, and I kind of want to keep up that kind of pace. So this is why I did put it on the list as well, because I did want to see if I could get a non-fiction on this month's TBR. I think most people do know this book, but I'm just going to give you a little brief kind of synopsis. So she was known as Emily Doe when she stunned millions with a letter. Brock Turner had been sentenced to just 6 months in county jail after he was found sexually assaulting her on Stanford's campus. Her victim impact statement was posted on BuzzFeed, where it instantly went viral, viewed by 11 million people within 4 days. It was translated globally and read on the floor of Congress. It inspired changes in Californian law and the recall of the judge in the case. Thousands rose to say that she had given them the courage to share their own experiences of assault for the first time. Now she reclaims her identity to tell her story of trauma, transcendence, and the power of words. It was the perfect case in many ways. There were eyewitnesses, Turner ran away, physical evidence was immediately secured. But her struggles with isolation and shame during the aftermath and the trial reveal oppression victims face and even the best case scenarios. Her story illuminates a culture biased to protect predators and depicts a criminal justice system designed to fail the most vulnerable, and ultimately shines with the courage required to move through the suffering and live a full and beautiful life. Know My Name will forever transform the way we think about sexual assault, challenging our beliefs about what is acceptable and speaking the truth to the tumultuous reality of healing. It also introduces readers to an extraordinary writer, one whose words have already changed our world. Emitting pain, resilience, and humour, this memoir will stand as a modern classic. I have heard lots of good things about the writing, also touches in serious topics as well, so my TBR is quite balanced, that I can read something that is not as heavy at the same time, just to kind of break it up. It's one I've been wanting to read for a while, so I'm glad that it came up on the TBR poll. So those are like the 4 that I'm definitely gonna be reading. If you have been around this year, I've started to kind of stick to 4 rather than 5, but if I do have time to read for a 5th book, because I have been reading better recently. I just don't want to put the pressure on myself so much. The next kind of one that came up with the most votes was actually A Magic Steeped in Poison, not including my accidental vote, guys. So I may pick this one up. I do have the arc of like the 2nd book of this to read, and it came out in January, so I probably should read this one if I have time, so that I can eventually read the 2nd one and actually finally do my review. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna go through synopsis because this is like a maybe, and I might not be feeling it at that point, so I'm not gonna kind of say that I will definitely read that one. But if you have, just let me know. And yes, thank you to everyone who voted on those polls. Your help was greatly appreciated, and I'm looking forward to reading all of these selections. Thank you so much. Comment, like, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye! Hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel. This is Sunshine Lorena, and this is my June TBR. Why can't I speak today? My voice is breaking.